Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello.
welcome to Drummers Education Connection, episode 31. We're very honored and proud to announce we have Larry Rodbell in the house.
Yeah.
And he made it on lucky
Larry Rodbell.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. It's episode 31. Yoda. Oh, my God.
31.
Woo!
31. Wish I had that one back.
Man, 30 was a big one. It was our big celebration of number 30. We had a chorus line and dancing bears and a marching band and fireworks.
That's right. We're officially middle-aged now.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, how are we going to top that off? And the only way we could do it is to have Larry Rodbell on.
Have Larry Rodbell on. That's the only way to do it. So here he is.
Yeah. So
I don't have any dancing
those who
bears
don't know,
things going on here today.
Oh, you don't have any dancing bears? Well, forget it. We're out.
Well, Larry Rodbell, folks, is a mover and shaker in the drum education world. And Larry's been performing for over 30 years, teaching for over 20 years. I know you're on the committee of the Percussive Arts Society, the drum set committee. Larry endorses Ludwig, Zildjian, Remo, Vickfirth, Prologix, Hinge Sticks, Humsenberg. Am I forgetting anything, Larry? A lot of stuff.
I think that covers it. And drum tax. I use drum tax.
Drum tax.
There you go.
Yeah. And, I first noticed Larry online, just I think Instagram buddies, and I saw this drum studio and I thought, now that looks like a great environment to learn drums. And I could see that Larry had this massive commitment to being an educator and was clearly making it fun. And Larry, we just have to see your studio right away. Can you
you got to show us the
studio. It's so beautiful.
Let me pick up the laptop and go to the waiting room and start from the beginning.
Oh, waiting room.
Oh, wow, he has a waiting room.
Larry, man.
Again, Larry, for our viewers, where you're in Maryland?
Yes, I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, between D.C. and Baltimore.
Oh man, that's awesome. Fantastic.
My wife was born in Annapolis.
Was she?
Yep. So when I heard you're from Annapolis, I'm like, we got to have you on.
Yeah, I grew up here.
That's great.
This is the back door where students come in, and then this is the waiting room.
Wow,
man! So some drum stuff and some Prologix pads, and hang out, and then walk down the hallway.
Do you have a television in that lobby?
I do, and I play drum videos on it from time to time. Like the Modern Drummer Festivals or something that has a variety, and just kind of let it run all day.
Wow,
man, that is awesome.
What a
beautiful!
And I like you got a practice pad. Students can warm up before their lesson.
Yeah, totally.
Inspiration and some autographs over here.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that. Oh, that looks like your studio, Rick, with the books.
Oh my gosh! Yep, the book racks. Let's see all your books. Look at that. Oh
now,
yeah,
Larry, are those books that you use in your practice, or are those books for sale?
No, these are ones I currently use with students. Mm-hmm. And then in here, there's just ones that I've accumulated over the years and stuff.
Right.
Man, look at that.
There's the Vickfirth Rudiment posters. I love those.
Yep.
Yeah. The Tommy Igo.
So the
look at that beautiful Ludwig.
Student sits here, and I sit over here. We use headphones and splitter, so we have tracks and metronome that we both listen to.
Fantastic.
And back here, I've got a bigger set with some more bells and whistles. This is a Ludwig Legacy Mahogany.
Man, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Oh, look at that.
Man.
Bart's freaking out. I know it.
I am totally just like losing my mind. Oh my God, this is so incredible.
What a fantastic space. I mean, if I could dream of a drum studio, it would look like that.
What more can you ask for? And it's in your house, man. That is, what more could you ask for? That is amazing. That is so great. Now, how
Congrats.
many? Congratulations, yeah, man. My hat's off to you. That is fantastic, Larry. Way to go. How many students are on your roster right now? Currently, how many students are you seeing right now?
Right now, I'm seeing a little over 60 students weekly. I have a couple that kind of come in bi-weekly, or just do online lessons once a month or twice a month. But currently, I see 60 students weekly.
That's
Are those half-hour sessions, or how do you split it up?
Most of them are half hours. There's a handful that are hours, but most of them are 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And do you do talk us through one of your lesson plans? Do you do, I know you're big on drum set, of course, we all are, but do you do you split it in half, in a half-hour lesson, do you do a little bit on rudiments and a little bit on the pad, then you go to drum set? How do you work that?
So where I am now, I call this the shallow end of the pool. We kind of work on the pads and technique, and then we take it to the deep end.
Wait. What's that on the stand there?
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Hey.
Oh, great books about my pal Rick.
Look at that. There's some.
Oh, that's really exciting to see that. That's cool. I didn't expect that.
Good stuff. Yeah,
so that's the shallow end of the pool.
Yeah, and then we take it over to the drum set. Usually we start with the pads and just work on some reading and technique, and then take it to the drum set. But my students range from like 5 years old to 75, so everyone's at a different place. So some students we start with the drum set, some students were just on the pad for a couple months, so it just depends on where they are.
Man, that is great.
Fantastic.
Very, very, very cool. So when you bring somebody in and you're starting out on the pad like that, right? You're getting going on the pad. Do you jump right into? You say you're working on reading. Do you work on just like subdivision reading with a beginner? Let's say you got a 5-year-old. Okay, you're working on subdivision reading, whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and stuff like that. And what books do you usually start with a real beginning student on?
For the beginners, I've been using the Kevin White books, Breaking It Down.
Yeah.
You guys know Kevin White? They're real simple. Yeah.
He's got some great charts up on his website too.
Yeah.
Some student versions of songs.
Yeah, like simple snare book and a simple drum set book, and there's 4 in the 4 in the kids series and 4 in the adult series. They're really easy to read. But I use a lot of books with a lot of different people. Those are the go-tos for the beginners and the younger crowd.
Man, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Great. Larry, so how do you find all of these students? Like, what's your system for bringing them in?
Social media.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to live in a community that's very big. We have our own shopping center. We have 2 schools. If you were to take all the roads, there's 30 miles of roads in my community. So, a lot of the kids bike over. We're in a great area. And I work at a school a couple of days a week. I do workshops at all the local schools, and just, a lot of networking and just meeting people.
Man, that is great. When you say you do workshops, okay, for your schools like that, what are you doing? Like, do you go in as a clinic, or when you do the workshop, is it like a group of kids working on reading? Talk us through one of your workshops.
So I visit the band rooms and work with the percussion students and work on whatever the teacher wants me to work on. So usually the band teachers are horn or string players, so they're not as knowledgeable with percussion. So we work on just the basics, some rudiments, just technique, kind of motivate and make it fun.
Do you teach mallets too?
I do a little bit, but I don't teach mallets. I can help the students through it, but I have some teachers here that I refer to, network and send them to them for, more advanced studies.
That's great.
Larry, a lot of instructors that we interview who are sort of at the top of the game, like you, they've got a decked out studio. They've got a curriculum that they've developed over the years. They've got a plan. They've got so much going on. But, a lot of for people who are just getting started teaching drums, I think they look at something like this, your studio or Rick's studio, or, these robust teaching practices, and they're like, oh my God, how in the world am I going to get from where I am to where those guys are? So let's hear about. I would like to hear about how you got started and how
So
your
I started
teaching
teaching
practice
in
evolved.
'97 with one student on a Sunday. I was playing full time in a traveling top 40 band, and someone had mentioned that a local music store was looking for a drum teacher, and they thought I'd be a good candidate. So I just went in and talked with the manager, and she says, "Can you start next Sunday?" So, I was thrown into this, teaching, which I wasn't prepared for. I just had a bug for it, loved to teach myself and always be educated. So I started to teach one student for a couple of weeks. That turned into 2 students, 3 students. Then they offered me another day at the store. So I was working there for a couple of years. And then in 2000, when we bought this house, I started doing part-time lessons in the basement. And then it started to balance out where I was getting more students at the house than the store. So a few years ago, I stopped working at the store after 22 years teaching there. And I've been doing full-time here for the last couple of years. And now I'm busier than ever. So it started out with students a couple of days a week, and now it's full-time 5 days a week.
That is so great. How do you balance that? Do you work on weekends?
I used to do weekends, but in the last couple of years, I just do Monday through Friday. I saved Saturday and Sunday for gigs, and then COVID came, so I just had my weekends off for a year.
Yeah.
And it was nice because, for 20 plus years, for more than 20 years, I was always working weekends with gigs and teaching. So, as a guy in his 50s, it's nice to have my weekends off again.
Yeah. I've been taking the Monday, Friday off and then working on the weekends. And that's worked out really well for me because I found so many people were available on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then it's nice to have working a few days and then a day off. But, there's all different ways. I think we have to kind of experiment with what works for us in our lifestyle.
All the years of working Saturdays or Sundays, I found that those lessons were harder to maintain because people were always canceling for trips or sports. And so it was hard to keep a consistent schedule on the weekends. So I do prefer the weekday lessons because there's more consistency.
There you go.
I find that too. When my kid was born, I stopped teaching on the weekends just to have dedicated family time and sort of never went back, even though he's 15 and we don't hang out anymore.
So Larry, are you doing online lessons as well?
Oh yeah. How has COVID impacted your teaching practice?
So when COVID hit, it was a smooth transition for me because I was already doing online lessons. So I already had the equipment and knew how to do it. And then, we shut down on a Friday, sent out the emails, and then Monday morning, everybody was online. Not one person jumped off or flinched.
Wow. Great.
Smooth transition. And then starting in June is when I started bringing people back into the studio in person and, just kind of spacing them out a little bit and, being very cautious. So we have, I guess, 90% back in the studio and still 10% online.
Yeah.
That's great.
On your online practice, because right now what I've been running into is like going back to normal. I found that a lot of my students want to stay online, or just the percentage of students that want to stay online versus the students that want to come back in person. That's more of a scheduling nightmare than when everything switched over. For you, are you finding that doing half and half is challenging? Do you do one day? Okay, I'm just going to do like Wednesday online and then everything else is in person, or how do you work that? How do you schedule that?
It's all mixed up because of people's schedules and availability. So I could do, a couple in person and then I could jump online and then I'm jumping offline to do in person again. So it's a potpourri.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Hey, Larry, you have a poster. What is that over your right shoulder? It's round.
Or in the back.
Yeah. What do you have there? What do you have just up on the wall there? Yeah.
So these are drum heads, 32-inch drum head that Ramo made for me with my programs embedded into the head. So this one's called the Solid 6, which is I use for clinics and workshops at music stores.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow. Tell us about the Solid 6.
What's that? Talk to us about that.
6?
Let's talk about this one first. So this is called the key to control. You can see that.
Wow. Very influenced by very Dom Famularo-ish looking.
Yes.
Okay.
So what this is it's a program to take one exercise. Let's say stick control. You take the line 1 as stick control. Instead of playing it one way, you can play it 9 different ways. So you start at the top with 3 different tempos. You got 90, 60, and 120 with 3 different target tempos. And at the bottom, 3 different dynamic levels. So 3 inches for soft, 6 inches for medium, 9 inches for loud. And you crisscross everything. That gives you 9 ways to play one idea.
Can you hold it closer?
Oh, I got to get one of those from you. That is awesome.
You can download this. I have it on my website. You can download it. There's a video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, that kind of like, breaks it down and shows you how to work it.
That is outstanding.
Yeah, that's really well done.
So it's in the shape of a key, like a lock.
Ah, that's awesome. I love it.
Oh, man.
And all the teachers in the area have them. So sometimes I'll have a new student come in and he already has one from his teacher at school. So it's kind of cool.
That's
really
awesome. And that was your idea?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is outstanding.
And what about that other bass drum, the 6?
Okay, so the solid 6, and I had both of these programs trademarked. So there's trademarks on these.
Oh, wow.
When I first started teaching, I went online and started writing down everything I needed to know as a teacher. And I find I was very overwhelmed. There's just too much stuff out there. So I started to categorize it into smaller groups, and basically all boiled down to these 6 categories.
Can you read them off?
There you go.
Yeah. What? So we got
Note values.
Note values, which is the alphabet. The rudiments, which is the grammar. The dynamics, which is your personality. Your independence. Your cymbals, your drums, your cowbells, your sound, your textures and tones, and then tempo and time.
Oh my God.
Man, that's fantastic.
All these and never have something not to do, never be overwhelmed with what do I do with the polyrhythm or this or that. It's 6 things, 6 things.
Man.
That's great.
Man, I could tell that you have a fantastic drum clinic.
Yeah, I would love to see your clinic, man.
Likewise.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. That is so inspirational. And you trademarked these.
Yeah.
And you, how long have you had that trademark for?
5 years, 6 years now.
Man, that is.
So one of my adult students, who's a longtime student, is a lawyer, and she does copyright and these kinds of things. So she actually encouraged me to do it and help me, with all the paperwork and all the logistics. But now it's a real thing.
Man, that is just outstanding, man. That is so awesome. I think the thing that has been so inspirational to me, and I'm going to work this into a form of a question, bear with me, is that, when we started the Drummers Education Connection and we started working with the 4 of us, to me, it was so inspirational to work with the other 3 guys. And then we started meeting all these drummers and talking about their careers. A lot of them we knew, and seeing how they run their businesses. It was so unbelievably inspirational. And just, the 20 minutes that we've been online watching you, I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to up my game, because I really up my game, all the time. And I'm looking at this and I'm just like, oh, this is outstanding. One of the things that you said in your bio, at the beginning of your bio, you talk about how you right away make people comfortable coming into their lesson, and they don't feel threatened. They feel really comfortable. And just online, I mean, you have immediately done that. So my hat's off to you there. Let me ask you this: with an adult student that might be have a little bit of trepidation coming in, like, oh man, I don't want to play in front of Larry and I'm nervous and all that stuff. How do you put somebody at ease? How do you put their mind at ease that, hey, it's okay, it's cool, let's do this? How do you do that?
I just talk to them like a person. We discuss what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with. I just had an adult student, a female adult student, start 4 weeks ago, And last week, I said, let's get on the drum set. I haven't heard you play yet and really, hit a drum. So, just make it feel comfortable and just, do what you do. I always tell them, pretend I'm not here. I'm just a fly on the wall. Because I know, if I was to play in front of you guys or anybody, I get nervous. So I can imagine a student playing in front of a teacher. So I just try to make them feel relaxed and comfortable and just, how I would want to be treated if I was in their situation.
That's great, man. That is great. Your studio, I said this a second ago when you were walking through and we were looking at your studio and looking at your books and stuff. It really reminds me of Rick's studio where he teaches. And the passion for teaching is something that I think you have to be a good teacher and to be to articulate your thoughts and translate those into here's how you do it. And you obviously have that. Now, I mean, phenomenally well. One of the things that you said before we got online, we talked about, okay, you said you lived in Buena Park. I'm in Fullerton, which is Buena Park's right there. It's right over there. You came out here to play music, and talk to us a little bit about that. Talk to us about the playing side of things that you've done and what you're doing now.
Okay. So right out of high school, I didn't go to college. Right out of high school, I joined a local band, and we played the tri-state area. It got pretty popular and recorded a couple of tapes, back then, the cassettes. And then, this was 88, so I joined the band in 88. And, we were playing Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, the tri-state area, and doing well on the weekends, playing original music. And then in 91, we made the decision to relocate to Los Angeles. So right before Nirvana hit, we moved to LA with big hair and spandex and the wrong time. So we played the script, we did what we did. And, I was out there 5 years, played with a couple bands, recorded a couple different CDs, and it just wasn't happening where I wanted it to go. So I moved back to the East Coast in 96. A few months later, a friend of a friend calls and says, a top 40 band is looking for a drummer. Are you interested? And at that time, I'd only played original music. I was only into hard rock and what I like. So I really had to study and learn Motown and jazz and adult contemporary, the kind of things people hear at a wedding. So that's what started the bug with me getting educated again. So in 96, I started playing with this band, and it was full-time. I was playing full-time music, getting a check each week, just playing the drums, learning music. So that was the big experience of getting professional and, having to get my act together and play different styles more accurately. So that was 96. And then in 97, when I got the teaching job, that's what really snowballed everything to go to the next level with education. But I've always been playing, music and recording and playing in different bands, do a lot of sub work now. Don't play with one specific band like I used to, but I do a lot of freelance work before COVID hit. Things have been slow now, but hopefully I get back there. I love to play out live and record, and the circle of it, teaching, recording, and performing is definitely how it works. If I was just teaching, I don't know if it would work. I was just playing, I wouldn't be happy. It's a combination of all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I know of some music teachers who teach mainly to subsidize their gigging career, and teaching's kind of like an afterthought. But I know for people like you and people like us, teaching's, someone asked me the other day if I could retire tomorrow because I had all the money I wanted, what would I want to do? And I said, well, I think pretty much mostly the same stuff.
Yeah.
So, teaching.
My joke is, I always tell people I'm retired because when you retire, you do what you want to do. I'm doing what I want to do right now. So
Exactly.
There you
there's
go.
no need to retire. You retire because you don't enjoy the job, or it's just the job is done. Our job is never done.
Never done. Right.
Never.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's it.
Larry, you're on the drum set committee for the Percussive Arts Society. Tell us a little bit about how you got on the committee, what your role is on the committee, and more about that.
So that kind of happened. I joined PASIC 10 years ago and go every year and network with colleagues and people. And then I guess it was 5 years ago, the chairman of the Percussive Arts Society, a friend of mine, asked if I was interested in being a part of the committee. And, I said yes. So I, had to write some letters and join. But we help facilitate the drum set portion of PASIC every year. So we review videos and, read bios and reach out to people about performing and, all the detail about the drum set portion of it, not the marching or the mallet. It's all drum set education focused. It's about 20 of us, 20 or so professionals.
Isn't
it coming back this year? I thought I saw something.
They just announced yesterday, the day before, that it's going to be in person, Indianapolis, November. I want to say 13 or 14, somewhere in there, early November.
Wow, that is exciting.
That's great.
Wow,
that is fantastic.
Well, Larry, you must have had some great drum teachers to inspire you. Who did you study with?
I never really studied with anybody. I had some, I went into band in the 4th grade, and that was my first introduction, and then went all the way through 12th grade. So I had band and orchestra and wind ensemble, and I did chorus and took guitar. Every music class I could possibly take, I took in school. I took a couple private lessons with some people, but never really connected with someone. Mm-hmm. So I've just been watching videos and just educating myself. So when I started teaching, I wanted to be the teacher that I could never find. It was more like a mentor.
Yes, thank you for saying that.
There you go.
Yeah. Younger, left a bitter taste in my mouth. And I'm not saying that every military drummer is this way, but I had a couple lessons with some Navy and Army guys, and it didn't work. It left a bad impression in my head. So I'm trying not to do what they did.
Well, I can tell that you encourage your students, that you come in and you support them, and you're not a whiplash kind of guy throwing cymbals around the room, like in the movie. It's my tempo.
You're not supposed to do that.
No.
I have a big banner on my studio wall that says "Not quite my tempo."
That's great.
Yeah, and if you learn to read music, you can do so much on your own. It is true. I'm minimizing the importance of working with finding a mentor but man, you can accomplish so much if you learn to read. And clearly you've done a lot.
Years ago, when I was learning songs for, bands and all, let's say a cover song, you listen to it, you make some notes and you learn it. Over the years, I can just look at like a Zeppelin book or a Who book and just scan the pages real fast and go, because I've heard the song and I can see like some of the fills and changes and go, all right, let's go. Like, I don't need to hear it anymore because your eyes can tell you what you need to hear.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How do you approach those students who don't want to read? Do you get those?
I sneak it in, so they don't know that they're reading. It's like, trying to get your kids to eat vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I write a quarter note on the board or an eighth note, and I go, okay, hit the drum once, hit the drum twice. I go, you're reading. So, they're not like overwhelmed of, I have to learn how to read music, because it's just notation. It's not really reading music per se, like you're reading bells or piano. You're looking at music notation, which is a little easier, I think, than reading music.
Right.
Even though it is music. I'm not saying we're not reading music, but it's different than reading an A and a B flat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're reading subdivisions and stuff like that. One of the things that you said that I always think, and I try to live up to, is exactly what you said of being the teacher that I never had. Do you find that on a daily basis where you run into a student, you think of what not to say because of maybe a teacher that you did have that maybe pushed you the wrong way or something like that? Have you ever had that happen to you?
A little bit, maybe not a teacher said something to me, but just, I treat people the way I want to be treated. So I, use, simple words and treat them in a relaxed human nature than being like a teacher and very direct, or, let's play page 5, let's page 6. So it's very, very loose, very loose.
That's great.
But at the same time, it sounds like you do have within that looseness quite a bit of structure to your lessons and your program.
Yeah, I like to be organized and have some type of focus in the lesson. But also, if the students looks over at something and says, "What is that? What does that do?" I'll stop the lesson and we'll talk about that. So it depends on where we are and what we're doing of what we're going to do that day.
Right.
So do you have with students that are just starting out, is there like a curriculum per se? Like, okay, we've got to get through this much, and then it's kind of a, it's open to what what you may want to learn, or now you've learned enough that now we can just jump into whatever song it is you want to do. Is there like a beginner's curriculum or a curriculum for a more advanced player for you?
Yes and no. Most of my students are beginners or intermediate. So, we work on the basics and then work on some coordination, and we try to work on bringing some music into it. Even if we're just at the pad working through, some stick control rudiments, we like to bring in music and use the music like the metronome. I think the metronome is a great tool, but if you're a beginner, it's super boring and super unhealthy. So the music kind of gets them into the water, and they're playing along with some Green Day or whatever they're playing to, Adele, and it makes them feel good. They just played a 4-minute song from front to back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I try to build a confidence. I think that's a huge thing with drumming. Is if you feel like you can do it, you're going to do it. If you don't feel like you can do it, it's going to be harder to conquer it.
And to sound good, right? You got to believe in what you're playing if you want to sound any good. Yeah,
that's right.
That's the biggies, groove, time, and feel. And that's what I really liked about your drum head, the 6, those things are all so encompassing. That's amazing that you've got that all trademarked and stuff, man. That is fantastic. That's, again, my hat's off to you. Now, looking around your studio there, we've got you got some pretty great drum sets there.
Yeah, can we have?
You're a Ludwig guy, and I'm a Gretsch guy, but Ludwig, man, I always, when I was a kid growing up, it was always like, to me, Ludwig and Gretsch, one of them was a Ferrari and one of them was a Lamborghini. They were just the best American made drums. They just sound great. Now, you showed us the kit you got there, the one the student plays on. How do you have those set up and tuned up? Are they set up just kind of like it's a rock type of thing, or how do you have them all tweaked in for your students to learn and play on?
The student kit is kind of a medium tension. They're not too tight, not too loose. I have a double pedal in the kit that I can take on and off. Some of the students are at that metal age.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-piece kit, ride, crash, hi-hat that we start with, and then we can bring in and we can put in extra crashes and a splash and put up a second tom, or add things to it. But we start with a simple 4-piece and kind of go from there.
That's awesome, man.
Larry, can we see a close-up of those kits again? They're just too beautiful.
So the students play a classic maple. I spoil them. They play on this classic maple kit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a 20-inch bass drum?
Yeah, it's a 20-inch, and it's up top is a 10, and then a 14-inch floor tom.
Cool.
Over here is the new classic oak and smoke finish.
Oh, wow.
Man, that's beautiful. Is that a 22 by 14 that I'm looking at there?
That's a 20 by 14.
Oh, okay, 20 by 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Yeah, you can tell.
Look at that.
Nice looking kit.
That is beautiful.
And then back here is the Legacy Mahogany, and that's a 22 by 14. That's a bigger kick.
Okay. Yeah.
So is that your clinic kit or gig kit?
It could be. I use that drum head for clinics, but if I'm usually gigging, I'll probably use the bigger Maple Classics. I've got a 22 by 16, and then a 16-inch floor tom and a 12-inch rack tom.
I like the blue, Larry.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's a
that's
a 68 super classic.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, that is amazing.
So Bart,
this is that one back there. Oh, now you're speaking my language. Look at that.
That's from 1949.
Oh, dude.
Whoa.
How long have you had that kit?
I've had that for maybe 10 years. Actually, I'm looking to sell it. If you're interested, we can talk later.
Oh yeah, I am. So what? Go with go. No, go back. Go back.
Hearts foaming at the mouth.
I am.
Snare
So
drums.
what do you have on that Gretsch kit? There's just a kick and a tom, or is there a floor tom with it?
It's a kick and a rack tom. That's it.
And is that a 13-inch rack tom?
Yes.
And a 22-inch kick?
Yeah, 22 by 14.
22 by 14. And then now let's see the snare drum collection you got going on there.
Oh yeah.
One of those has got to be a Black Beauty, no?
Yep. Somewhere in
Gotta
there.
be superphonic there.
There you
Here's
go.
Black Beauty, and then this is a Black Beauty that I had John Aldridge engrave.
Yes,
my daughter
yes.
came up with all the design for it.
Cool.
Look at that.
Man, that is
Oh yeah.
And then this is my 402 74 Superphonic.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, it's an olive badge too. What year did you say that was? 74?
74. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's beautiful.
And then this is a hammered, I think this is bronze,
Bronze, yeah.
hammered acrylite.
Yep.
This
Mhm,
is
those are great.
matching mahogany.
Is that
legacy.
acrylite? Is the
Oh.
acrylite olive badge too?
Yeah, but this is a couple years old. This is like a newer
okay.
one.
Oh, okay.
This is a birch, solid birch drum.
Yeah.
This is a 60s model. I'm not sure what drum it is, but it's an old 60s drum. This is the WFL.
Ooh.
These two are WFL. This is from the 50s. And this is from the 30s.
Whoa, no
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
Is that a wood? Is that wood?
Yes.
Like a maple?
I'm not sure the wood on it, but it's got a marine pearl wrap on it.
Yeah. That's
So
pretty.
Larry, what goes into your decision making about what snare to use on a particular gig or session?
The band, the room, some drums I haven't played in a while. Just there's no rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Now, as a Gretsch guy, I've been with Gretsch for years and years, and I'm so proud to be on their roster. But I don't know how it is with Ludwig. Do you know Dusty Watson? He's a Ludwig guy. He's a good friend of mine. He's out here on the West Coast, and I've asked him. I think it's the same way where snare drums are considered an accessory, so I can play whatever snare drums I want. I'm like everybody. I got a collection of them, so you'll be happy to see this. This is a drum that I'm playing right now. That's one of my Black Beauties.
Black
So,
Beauty. I love
yeah,
that.
so
Oh.
great drums.
What's the hoop made of?
What's that?
What's the hoop made of?
Oh, it's a wood hoop. They're maple hoops. Yeah.
I've never played a maple. I've never played a wood hoop. I've always been afraid because I'm such a big rim shot guy. I never wanted to hit that wood so hard.
You know what? I've got one around here. One of my Supraphonics. It's packed away in a case. Yeah, I'm a rim shot guy too, and the hoop that I have on that one's an okay hoop. This one's seen a lot of hard road, man, and I beat it like it owes me money, and it's held up. But what I like about the wood hoop, I don't know how well it comes across over online, but it's got a real. I like the side stick sound.
Yeah.
I really like that. The side stick sound that you get with the wood hoops. That's why I use it. Anyway, of your collection, I mean, being a Ludwig guy, do you just, you see something like I got to have that and you buy that? How do you make your decisions on the kit you get from Ludwig?
No rhyme or reason. Like a couple years ago, when I bought the oak kit about a year and a half ago, I bought that for my 50th birthday. So it was like, instead of going away on a big trip with some friends, I, splurged on a drum set that I didn't need, but just wanted. But the maples and the oaks and the mahoganies and just, I'm a drum geek. So I just, come down and just play and just trade out for my own enjoyment and fun.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what.
Yeah.
Do they make a walnut kit? Does Ludwig make a walnut kit?
I don't know if that kit, they might make some snares with some walnut, but I'm not 100% positive.
I've got a Gretsch walnut kit. It's hands down the best sounding kit that I own. That kit just sounds like $1,000,000. And I bet that oak kit sounds really good too. It's a real dense, heavy wood. Are the drums real heavy on that kit? Physically heavy?
But the drums are very sharp. They have a lot of attack, very bright. I've heard friends refer to it, or people in the industry, they refer to the oak sound as being almost like an EQ'd sound. Like the maple and the oak are both great feeling and sounding drums, but the oak has more of a, I guess, process sound, like it went through a microphone and had some effect on it, instead of just being more of a dry drum.
Okay.
It's hard to put words what a drum sounds like, but it has more attack, and it just sounds a little fuller.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I used to play at a venue that had a house kit that was an oak kit, so I played on it quite a bit, and it was exactly like you're describing. Very sharp, very bright, sharp attack. Nice sounding kit, though.
Yeah, Larry, you certainly have a drum for every situation in there, and I could just see a student coming in and just enjoying a session on all of these sounds. What's a vintage sounding drum sound like? What's a modern? And just really understanding that's a big part of it is what you play, and then of course all the different heads that you can apply to all of those heads. So you're so well equipped for that. But what's your go-to music? What do you like? What music do you love to play? What's the top stuff?
Everything.
Yep, I got a feeling.
I like to play good songs. So if it's a rock song or a reggae song or a pop song or a metal song, I just like good music. Could be country.
Yeah.
So I can't say I'm not a fan of this or that, but I just like good music, more rock and classic and jazz and prog. Not so much country and rap. But if there's a good song and there's a group that wants to have me play with them, I'll play it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I kind of found with some of the hip hop and rap stuff that I normally wouldn't listen to it, and then I start drumming along to it, and I just start really enjoying it because I might not love the song, or definitely might not like the lyric, but man, I love the beat, and that's one of the beautiful things about drums.
There's certain songs I like to listen to and never play, and there's certain songs I like to play but not listen to. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What artist it is, because I don't want to offend anyone, but some people I don't like to play. I just like to listen to, and some artists I love to play, but wouldn't put them on and listen to them in my own spare time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I understand that. I understand that very well. There's a lot of songs where I go to play it and it's like, I really enjoy it, but then you just hear it and it's like, but you enjoy playing it. Yeah, I get that.
Here's one. Sheryl Crow. Like, I wouldn't put on a Sheryl Crow album in my spare time to just go, I'm gonna listen to some Sheryl Crow. But I love playing along to her records. They're so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I see it. Yeah. So what are you facing any challenges that with teaching?
My challenge right now is that I have too many students, and then come the fall. Right now, our school system, they're in school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Wednesday they're out early. It's like a work day or a half day. So I have students that are coming at like noon and 12 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon that come the fall time, they're going to be back in school. So it's going to be hard to try to juggle these students into other slots and figure out who's going to drop off in the summer so I can move some students around. So I know it sounds crazy, but right now my frustration is I just have too many students to move around.
That's a good problem to have. How do you handle cancellations?
What's that?
How do you handle your cancellations? What's your cancellation policy?
Everybody signs a tuition agreement, when they first start, and 24-hour notice, tuition's due on the first of the month. Cancellations, only if there's availability in the schedule. So sometimes someone will cancel, but there's no room in the schedule to make it up, so they don't get a makeup.
Yeah.
But I also every third month of the calendar there's an extra a week. So some months there's 4 weeks, some months there's 5 weeks. So I charge for 4. So every third month you get like what I call the bonus lesson. So you get a free lesson, and that accumulates if you're not able to get a makeup or you cancel last minute. So everybody's happy, and it just works out to this one flat fee, and you come each week.
That's awesome. That's the same.
Yeah.
It sounds like you and I run our business exactly the same. That's kind of what I do too. And I do 30-minute lessons. I do half hour or hour lessons. I have a couple of students that I have 2 students right now that they're like, well, I don't want an hour, but I don't want a half an hour. So let's do 45 minutes. Like, well, okay. And then, I got a 15-minute break to go get a sandwich or something, and I'm fine with that. Do you dig your heels in? Like if somebody calls up and they're like, hey, look, something happened. I just can't make it today. I really would like to have a makeup though. I really don't want to eat the lesson, especially if it's like an hour-long student and you have a lesson, you have an hour slot open because somebody's on vacation on Thursday and it's Monday. Will you move that person into that time slot, or you kind of dig your heels in and go, oh, well, I'll see you on one of the 5th weeks? How do you handle that?
Yeah, no, I'm totally flexible, and I work with them, they work with me. So, I'm compassionate. So if someone calls last minute and something happened, that's fine. But sometimes people take advantage of it, and every other week they're calling it like an hour before, and there's some story. So there's the bad eggs who ruin it for everyone, but I make it easy for everyone.
Yeah,
Larry,
that's good.
I'm curious, have you ever had a student where you felt like after the first lesson, I don't think this is a good fit, and you had to tell them that you don't think it's a good fit and they should look for somebody else?
Not after the first lesson. There's only been one student I can think of, and I think I let it go for a couple months and let the parents know that I don't know about this and this and that. And then after a couple months, I finally had to say this they're not into this and this isn't working. So but it usually doesn't happen.
Right.
Every once in a while I'll get a parent who says, can we try a couple lessons and see if they like it? And I say, I hear that a lot, and they're going to like it. Like there's no way, because they signed a tuition agreement right in the beginning, and it said you have to put in a 2-week notice to get out of your tuition agreement. So after 2 weeks, they don't know if they should put their notice in or not. And like they're going to enjoy it. We're going to make it fun. If you want to play the drums, it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's fantastic. So when you're on your tuition agreement, do you also add in, do you have a mission statement for your students that you give to your parents or to the students that, hey, this is what, we want to try to accomplish, and this is what I want to give to you? Do you handle stuff like that, or have stuff like that, I should say?
And not a specific mission statement, but, basically, we're going to take what you want to do and go for it. So if it's some students come in and say, I want to just play a song I can jam in my basement with my buddies, we go right to that. And some students are in the school system and work on really working on their technique and the readings. They can be in the school band. I have adults who, don't want to work with reading. So we work more by ear. So it's just whatever their intention is, that's what we work on.
That's great. That's fantastic.
And do you have a lesson plan each week for each student? Do you know what you're going to work on, or do you just write it in their notebook and then they come back and you know where you're at?
I write it in their book and we kind of know where we are the next week. Some students we have projects we're working on. Everyone's at a different place. So I would say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds right to me.
That's great. So, and then when let's say you get an adult student, have you ever had an adult student who is a player? They've been playing for a while, and they come to you and they, more or less than anything, they just kind of want to jam, but yet they still want a lesson. And I don't want to know how to read. I don't want to work on my rudiments. I just want you to show me some cool drum fills. And how do you handle that? Because how do you handle that? Because that happens.
Oh, I've got that.
Oh yeah.
So I have this one adult student. He's been coming, I think, for 6-7 years. He's a doctor. He told me on lesson 1, I don't want to be taught. I just want to have fun. And he comes in. It's like it's like going to the gym. He calls it an educated drum hang. So it's not a drum. He just calls it a drum hang. And he comes in with his phone. We do an hour lesson. He goes, I want to learn this Scorpion song and this AC/DC song and this Stick song. And we just kind of, hash it out and jam on it.
Awesome.
There it is.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I have a guy like that too. It's been years of, he loves playing the live videos. He just wants to, have that virtual reality experience. So we've got it up there, up on the flat screen. And on my YouTube channel, I've got a huge collection of live concert footage for drumming that anyone can access. And it's just like being there in the room.
You
or being there
pipe
on
in the crowd cheering noise, Rick.
Oh yeah. We'll crank it up and turn off the lights every once in a while in the studio and make it a virtual reality. And the guy has grown, and step by step though, I'm noticing more and more he's like trying to figure stuff out and will read more and more. So
That's super.
as long as they're evolving, that's how I feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say is my mission statement, as long as you come in with a smile and leave with a smile, I'm happy.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. And I think that coming away from the, coming away from the lesson, I think you should feel, I think you should feel challenged. I think you should feel educated. And I think most importantly, you should have walked away having fun too, and not just me, that's my personal opinion on it. But I think that, those three things kind of, for a good drum lesson need to happen. Okay. I was a little bit challenged, and the challenge can be anything. It can be, how do I read that? How do I play this? Or, man, that was a great workout. It can be a lot of things, but I think that that's what you need to walk away from with the lesson, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what makes, I think that's what makes the lesson that circle, like you said, it just keeps it rolling forward, Yeah.
Do you guys have an age limit on what age you'll accept a student?
I do. Yeah, I won't take younger. Five is the youngest I'll ever take.
Yeah. What about you, Larry? What about you?
I say no age, but I've had people call in like 2 or 3, and I said that is too young. So usually 4 or 5. And I always tell the parents up front too, like, let's try it. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I had a student start with me 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, right after his 4th birthday. And he's a student that teaches me, because I've never taken a student that young so far. He can read, he can hear things, he can improvise. Like, he's like, I'm sometimes I see him tweak. I'm like, well, what do we do now? Like, what do I show the 6.5-year-old? It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great. I always like it. I had a drum teacher one time say to me, he goes, man, I had a drum student that surpassed me. This kid can just play better than me. And it was frustrating to him, to the teacher. And my opinion was, I was like, well, man, that's actually a good thing. I think that's a great thing, because you mentored somebody who has surpassed you in ability. That's huge.
You did your job really well.
Right.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's not a competition. You taught somebody how to play the instrument, and you're handing them off, That's not it. That's huge. That's fantastic,
Yeah.
And so you have a 6-year-old that you run into that. Have you run into that with other students, where all of a sudden you got this kid that just, yeah, you're done, go play? Have you ever had that happen?
I've got a couple of kids now with the double bass who are faster than I am. Like, I can't keep up with them. I can teach them a more skill and how to make it more articulate. But as far as me playing, they're much faster than I am.
Well, speed is its own thing. Speed is a technical facility, right? That doesn't make you a good drummer. And even for students who maybe can play faster or better, whatever that means, there's usually a lot more things that you can teach them from all your years of experience that they don't have, right?
Right.
That's right.
Oh, dude, yes.
Yeah, Larry,
you're hired.
I was actually going to bring that cartoon up. Can you explain what it is? Because for people who couldn't see it.
So this is kind of my mission statement, I guess. So the guy on the left-hand side is playing a million notes. Hold on. There we go. The guy on the left is playing a million notes, and the guy says, "You're amazing." And then the drummer on the right is going boom, bap, boom, boom, bap. And the guy says, "You're hired."
I love it.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, Larry, there
That
it
is
is.
so true, man.
Oh my goodness.
So I
Um,
think
Bart,
speed
do
and
we have a drumhead giveaway today?
Oh yeah, we do. We will be giving away the Focus X like we do every week. We'll be giving away a Focus X. So let's see here. What do we got? Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do today. You guys tell me what you think of this. Our friend now, Larry, do you know Jim Royal?
who is it?
Jim Royal?
Royal.
No.
Okay, Jim's a great guy and a big supporter of us. Now, Jim has won a drumhead already, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little twist on the drumhead giveaway.
Ooh.
So what I'm going to do is, Jim Royal, what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of your deserving drum students.
Yes.
And I want you to give them the snare drum head, and we will ship the snare drum head to them because Jim Royal's a big supporter of the show. So Jim, pick one of your deserving students, and he won the 14-inch Aquarian Focus X drum head.
Yeah, thanks, Aquarian.
Thank
you,
like
Aquarian.
Jim.
Yes,
like
thank
it.
you, Jim Royal, for the support and stuff like that. Larry, your studio and you as an individual, as a teacher, just everything, just what an inspiration you are. Just truly an inspiration. And man, I'm so inspired right now. My wife and I were selling this house, and we're having a new house built, and we're building a studio in the house, and I'm like, I got to go to my wife and I got to tell her, okay, the living room's now going to be the drum studio because it's got to be as big as Larry's, and I'm going to put 3 drum sets up, and we'll put the living room in what was going to be the studio. So,
and the guest room will have to be the waiting room.
The guest room will be the waiting room, and then full service kitchen for everybody. But anyway, Larry, that was you are a real inspiration. Thank you so much for letting us into your studio and stuff.
Yeah, Larry, we really enjoyed it. In closing, Larry, do you have any advice for drum teachers? New guys getting started with this.
Yeah, the advice is just never give up. I get a lot of people inquiring about how to broaden your student roster and about endorsements and things, but just it's about making relationships and just taking your time and planting seeds and being true to yourself, not trying to be someone you're not. I'll say in a lesson like this is more than a drum lesson, it was a life lesson. I kind of approach my business and what I do with music on just life in general. Drums, life have been a part of what I do for over 40 years. So it's just like breathing. Drums is like for all of us. I'm sure I'm not saying anything new to you 3, but drums is just, it's a part of life now. It's not just a job. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Very well said. Very well.
Well, thank you so much, Larry. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me. Anytime. This is great. I enjoy watching the programs of the other educators and players we've had over the months, and it's a great thing you guys have going.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of it and helping us make it better, Larry. You're awesome, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch, Larry, and every once in a while we get a big round table of drum educators. We call it all hands on deck.
Yes, and we'd love to have you back.
That would be great to have you return.
Would you like to do one of those?
I would love to. Yeah,
that'd be great. That'd be great. Well, we'll come up with the subject, and we'll come up with we'll do another hands on deck, and we'll get you back on the show. That would be great.
Very cool.
So just a quick note for our community: we are going to be offline next week. We're taking next week off because a couple guys are out of town, and we will be back 2 weeks from today with a roundtable. What we were talking about, Bart?
We are going to completely geek out on that show. We're going to talk about drum sizes and drum tone because of the sizes of the drums. And we're just going to completely be a bunch of nerds, which is fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Larry. That was fantastic. I know
Thank
your
you,
students
Larry.
are in great
Larry.
hands with you, man. Keep
Thanks
up
for
that
having
great
me,
work.
guys.
Inspiration.
You bet. Thank you. We'll see you soon.